Good morning, class. Today we'll be starting a new chapter, that is chapter 9, Force and Simple Machines, which is given at page number 76. Now, what is a force? If we want to move any object or stop any object, what do? We apply a force in the form of a push or pull. Okay? When we want to stop any object or when we want to move any object, we push it or pull it. So we can say that a push or pull on an object is called force. Okay. Now some pictures are given below. Identify push or pull. Just see first picture. A man is cutting the tree, so he is pushing it. So write there push. Second one, a man is taking a trolley, pushing a trolley in forward direction. So that is also push. Write there push. Now a girl child is pulling a toy, is taking a toy and stretching it forward. So this is a pull. Now third one, a boy is kicking the ball. So that is push. He is pushing the ball now in forward direction. Okay. So we can say what is a force? A push or pull on an object is called force. We cannot see force though it is around us. So see, it is not touchable or you cannot see it, feel it. Okay. We cannot see force though it is around us. We can only see what force can do. Yes, we can only see how force can do various things. It can move various objects, it can stop various objects. Okay, force is very important. Pulling a toy, kicking a ball, pushing a trolley are all examples of force that we see around us. Clear? Now what are the effects of force? First effect of force is that it helps objects to move. With the help of force, we can move any object. A stationary object means an object which is at rest, means which is not moving, which is kept still. So that can be made to move if we apply force on it. Okay. Now for example, it is given here a trolley being moved by a man by pushing it and a football being kicked by a player to make it move faster. These are the two examples of push. Okay. Now it helps objects to stop. First one was force helps objects to move. Okay. If an object is stationary, then you can move it by applying some force on it. Then second one, it helps objects to stop. If an object is already moving, then you can stop it by applying force in the direction opposite to that. Okay. A moving object, that is written in your book also, a moving object can be made to slow down or stop if force is applied in the opposite direction of motion. Yes. If you are running very fast and someone comes in front of you and just stops you by his or her hand, then you will stop. You will have to stop. So that means if someone will apply force in the opposite direction, you are running in forward direction and that man is coming in backward direction, then only you will be stopping now. So that means in opposite direction force is to be applied. For example, a goalkeeper stops a ball with his hands. Now next point is it helps to change the direction of an object. Okay, if an object is moving and its direction can be changed by applying force on it from an angle. From a particular angle, if we apply force on an object, then we can change its direction. For example, a batsman can change the direction of the ball thrown towards him by applying force with the help of his bat. Okay, by changing the direction of the bat, he can change the direction of the ball also. Okay, clear? It helps to change the shape of an object. force applied on an object can change its shape. Okay, yes, various objects are there whose shape can be changed by applying force. For example, making chapatis from a dough. Pressing a balloon full of air can also change its shape. Or you can say, just take a plastic bottle. If you apply force on it, then it becomes push it it becomes tilted, no, its shape changes. So that is an example of an force. Now, types of forces. There are various types of forces present. For example, gravity, friction, muscular force, magnetic force, buoyant force and elastic force. First one is gravity. Okay, now gravity, which force is this? Ripe fruits always fall on the ground. Okay, ripe fruits, ripe means which are totally ready to be eaten. Okay, so ripe fruits always fall on the ground. When they are fully ready to be eaten, then they fall on the ground. Why? How? Why they fall on the ground? Why they do not go upward, in the upward direction? Because there is a force of gravity acting on the earth. Okay, a ball thrown up in the air goes up in the air, stops and then falls to the ground. When you throw a ball upward, just like see here in the picture, when the boy is throwing a ball upwards, then it is going upward, then at one point it stops there in the height, then again it comes back down. Okay, why it happens? This is because of the force of gravity. Okay, the force that pulls objects downwards towards the center of the earth. This force of gravity is applied on the earth, which pushes objects downwards, pulls objects downwards towards the center of the earth. This is called gravity. It is a which type of force? Pulling force. It pulls objects towards the center of the earth. It is gravity that helps us to stay on the ground. It is because of gravity that you can stand on the ground, sit on the ground. Otherwise, if force of gravity is not there, everyone would have been just flying here and there in the air. Okay, without the pull of gravity, we would all have been floating in air like astronauts. Yeah, this only I was telling just now. That is why people going to space need to undergo special training to adjust to laws of gravity in space. Yes, that is the reason why people who go to the space, they need to undergo special training is given to them, so that they can adjust the laws of gravity in space. Why? Because gravity is not there in space, but in earth there is gravity, force of gravity, which is a pulling force which pulls objects downwards towards the center of the earth. Now next one is friction. The force that is present when two things are in contact with each other is called friction. When any two objects or two things are in contact with each other, then there develops a force between them which is called friction. It is the force that slows down moving objects or stops them. So friction is that force which slows down moving objects, or even it can stop also. Okay, a ball rolling on the floor stops after some time because of friction between the ball and the ground. When you roll a ball on the floor, it stops after some time. Why? Because friction, force of friction acts between the ball and the floor. That is the reason it stops after some time. It is the friction. Yes. Now, it is a friction between the feet and the ground that enables us to walk. Frictional force acts between our feet and the ground, which helps us to walk. Okay, friction is a pushing force. So you can say that friction is a pushing force, and gravity was a pulling force. Clear? Now muscular force. A weightlifter lifts heavy weights with his arms and muscles. Okay, with the help of his arms, you can see a weightlifter is lifting very heavy weights with his arms and muscles. Muscular force is applied in this case. In this case, muscles are used, that is muscular force is applied. Hence, muscular force is applied when we use our muscles, for example, lifting a bucket of water or a suitcase. Okay, clear? When we use muscles for doing any work, for lifting heavy objects, then it is called muscular force. Magnetic force. Magnets are the substances that attract certain materials towards them. Everyone must have heard about magnets. Okay, they attract certain materials towards them. The force with which a magnet attracts certain materials is called magnetic force. The force with which this magnet is attracting various materials towards them is called magnetic force. The materials which get attracted towards a magnet are called magnetic materials. Those materials which get attracted towards a magnet are called magnetic materials. For example, iron. Okay, magnets also apply force on each other. If two magnets are there, they will also apply force on each other. Every magnet has two poles. Yes, when you see a magnet, every magnet has two poles are there. Poles means two ends are there. Okay, just see in the picture also, one blue part, one red part. These are the two poles of the magnet. Okay, every magnet has two poles known as north pole and south pole. One is the north pole and the other is the south pole. When two like poles are brought near each other, suppose you have taken two magnets and two like poles. Like poles means similar poles. Suppose you are bringing two north poles of two different magnets together. Then what will happen? They will repel each other. Repel each other means they will move apart. Okay, a force will move. You will feel that a force is being experienced against them. Okay, they will repel each other. But if two unlike poles, suppose one magnet you have taken north pole, other magnets you have taken south pole, and you bring them together, then what will happen? Then they will attract each other. So always remember that two like poles of a magnet repel each other, while two unlike poles of a magnet attract each other. Clear? Now two forces are left, that is buoyant force and elastic force. Have you ever pushed a bowl or a mug floating on water? Have you ever pushed a bowl or a mug floating on water? Just push a bowl which is floating on water inside the water. What will you notice? You will notice that an upward force, you will experience on your hand that an upward force is acting from the down to your hand. You will experience this upward force acting on a floating object due to water is called buoyant force. For example, ships sail and people swim in water due to buoyant force that is acting in the upward direction. Okay, now next one is elastic force. Elastic force is a force that develops due to the deformity in the shape of an object. Deformity means change in the shape of an object. For example, a rubber band. A rubber band can be stretched and its shape can be changed again and again. If stretched and released, regains its original shape because of its elasticity. So this is an elasticity, which is a force that develops due to the deformity of the shape of an object. Clear to everyone? That's all for today class. Rest of the things we'll discuss in the next class.